What is up, guys? Pizza here, obviously, and today we are here with Star Trek Infinite. Now, if you'll remember last year, I did a one-off video on this. I recommended that you buy it because all the bugs would surely get patched out. That didn't happen. However, the last gasps of a modding community have put together something that makes it playable, if not completable. So today we are launching a new series. Just like with Star Trek Conquest, I am taking control of the Cardassian Union, hoping to take a small but admirable group of planets and expand it as far as we can. We are also going with a 25 times crisis strength, so when the crisis happens, it's going to be big. There are also a lot of primitive civilizations, there are a lot of habitable worlds. It's going to be fun. The Cardassian Union was forged in the fires of turmoil. After many centuries of famine and hardship suffered by their ancestors, the harsh military dictatorship of the present age was established so the people of Cardassia could survive on their resource-poor home world. The brutal origins of the state have made it adept at handling all manner of existential threats, from dissidents to terrorism to more advanced neighboring civilizations. However, the incredible efficiency the Cardassian Union has developed at deflecting or denying any wrongdoing can make diplomatic relations with them difficult. And this is what our canonized map looks like. Normally it's just kind of phlegm in here in the middle and over there. So this is a much nicer, much prettier map. It also introduces us to one of our first mods that we've got on here, which is the Tholian assembly is now involved as a power that we're going to have to contend with. There are a bunch of other hidden powers around the map, as is usual for Stellaris type games. But all of that is a little not important right now because we've got all of these worlds to handle in our own borders. And then we've got the Federation right here as well. And they're not going to be too friendly with us necessarily unless we make some adjustments. Of which I have no interest in doing that, so we're going to go ahead and send an emissary to the Romulans, and we're going to also send an emissary to the Tholians. These are really the only two people I'm going to try to make good with for right now, especially the Tholians, because we are going to be expanding out this way more than out this way. We don't really want to take on too many wars to start off the game. And then we have the Bajoran Republic down here. Now we could keep them as a subject power, just a puppet state, but the thing is that serves really to antagonize all of these guys all the time because they want to just support the independence of the Bajorans, so we're just going to go ahead and assimilate them. This is what the AI does normally. I'm doing it for a little less reasons than that. The AI just wants to do it because, well, it's a puppet state. I don't like puppet states. I'm doing it because I don't want to be antagonized throughout the entire game for keeping a puppet state down here. And the rest of it is much like normal Stellaris. We have construction ships, we have science ships, we have military ships. Of course, to go anywhere, we're going to need to get our science ship out, survey the system, before we can send this guy out to build a bigger starbase. The great thing about one of the other mods we've got is now that we have actual resources around. Most planets normally, no matter what you set the settings to, really only have like one or two of each resource. Thankfully, we are a little better equipped, so if we want to go here, which has nice stuff, we're going to be able to build a lot of mining stations, get a lot of good stuff out of that. We're also going to want to build a couple more science ships and a couple more construction ships so that we can spread out our power throughout our empire pretty easily and quickly. And while there are numerous complaints to make about this game and how it plays out and how really everything is kind of samey, I have found that there's actually a really unique thing with this version of Star Trek Infinite, and that's that if you play the Cardassian Union like you're the Federation, you're ultimately gonna lose. If you play them like the Klingons, you're gonna lose. And same thing, if you play the Klingons like the Cardassians, the Klingons like the Romulans, you're going to lose. If you play the Cardassians like the Cardassians, like they are a fascist military dictatorship though, you actually can get pretty far in the game. You just have to do a lot of role-playing and only do things that make sense. So here, this is our capital planet. So do I want to build a bunch of mining districts and energy districts here? No. I don't need those here. I need construction districts. I need maybe one or two industrial and energy districts. But I want some population over here as well. I'm going to want administration offices. But that's different for something like Bajor. Now, I don't own them yet, but once I have them assimilated, I can make these decisions. but this is Bajor. I don't care about Bajor. It's not Cardassian. It's not Cardassia. So I'll build a lot of mining. I'll build a lot of food. I'll do things that would look very unpretty if they were on a main planet. Same thing with all the other ones. Really, the only things we care about is like Septimus and Cardassia. We want those to be nice planets. We want them to be, you know, they can grow food. They have a lot of civilian areas. Good. Our colony worlds, screw them, doesn't matter. Make them as ugly as possible so long as they fill back to the state's coffers. That's all that matters in the end. And we want to probably implement a couple edicts. Right now we're just going to do exploration protocols because we are exploring and surveying out a little further. Policies, we're really not going to touch this. These are good for pretty much the whole game. There's no reason to touch those. And right now we want our research, kind of like Stellaris, we don't want it focused on all this stuff. This stuff will come back later. We're not looking to get it into any wars right now, but we do want bonuses to all these so that when the time comes, it's not that bad. Fleet tactics, unscrupulous deals isn't that important, but getting our level cap for leaders higher, that's important. Planetary build speed, that would be great because that's gonna help us out when we start colonizing things more. That's about all we can do here in the opening turn because I kept it paused this whole time. Now all I can do is kind of wait, let everything kind of ferry out, start seeing what the galaxy is gonna shape up to be. And of course, like every game of Star Trek Infinite, it begins with the Khitomer Crisis, where the Romulans have, surprise, come out from behind their veil of secrecy and attack the Klingons, who are their kind of erstwhile, kind of on-again, off-again allies. Now, as we are the Cardassians, we want to be aggressive toward other civilizations. We're domineering. We don't care about being nice and proactive. We don't care about being cautious. We want to take over other civilizations. This is the equivalent in Stellaris where you are setting up your own custom nation, basically, which you unfortunately can't do in this game. This game is a very slimmed down version of everything Stellaris has, but this is basically how you set up your own nation and how it's going to proceed throughout the rest of the game, is this opening crisis. Well, I'm glad they're going to be supporting the independence of Bajor. However, that's not going to be something you're going to be able to do for too much longer, my friend. Now, one of the biggest things we're going to be fighting throughout this entire campaign, especially this early area, is this spread penalty. This spread penalty, we're just barely under it right now, just barely under it, so we're going to have to build a lot of administrative offices across Cardassia mainly. I don't really ever build them anywhere else, but that's going to help prevent that spread penalty from being too big. Now, what's this anomaly? Something's a shipwreck on an island debris. Challenging, and it's going to take too long for you to research it. Leave that be for now. I really just want you to secure this system because they do have deuterium, which is a pretty important alloy for us to have. And I need that entire thing scanned, surveyed, settled before I can even send this guy over to build a mining station to make good use of that. However, I'm also going to be sending him across all these other areas, which is why I really need us to build up some more minerals so I can actually build another construction ship. Because until Bajor is assimilated, all this is off limits to me. This is a mission I sent my governor on at the beginning of the game. It always happens in the Cardassian campaign. Something happens on Septimus 3. So I could either just close the file on this, or I could let the crackdowns begin, which, I said we were going to be role-playing as the Cardassians. We are definitely going to be leaning probably too heavily into that. The Cardassian Union's top scientists have reported some strange readings originating from the Liaison System star. I wonder where that is, I'll have to look, but also there's, the birds! The colony is entirely inhabited by a hearing-impaired community in an effort to conduct a series of research projects, including a thorough study on systems of non-verbal communication. One of the projects being carried out by the colonists focuses on the species of boral and feather, seen displaying a random fighting, chronic distress when placed in captivity, when capturing field notes, when visiting team arrived on they discovered that the bird's erratic behavior is due to fault in the prefabricated habitat. Conceals loudspeakers and framework. Simulates. Okay, so what could we do here? Well, the smart thing is to update them. However, somebody cut some corners. They should just be put down, I guess. We don't really need anything on Cardassia right now. That does give us build speed everywhere. Do I care about stability? My stability's okay right now. All right, fine. Just update the structures. That's all that matters right now. I'm gonna let it slide this once, but that's because there's a benefit bigger to the Union than just this person right now. And yeah, pretty much everything. Every time this comes up, I'm gonna go ahead and recruit them. Doesn't matter how much unity it takes. having all of these leaders on hand comes really important later on in the game. And the Bajoran Republic has been successfully brought under our heel, which is great. That now gives us an extra science ship and an extra small fleet and an extra construction ship. So now I'll have like 3 or 4 construction ships when we get down to it, because I set some to be built now. Science ship, we don't have any scientists available though, so who will I go with? Both of you are literally the exact same, except you gain a little bit quicker. Oh, I don't have enough resources. What do I not have? I don't have enough energy crystals. All right, well, we'll get that in a second. I also am now way overspread because I took the Bajorans in. Oh, the woes of Empire. I can add an administrative office, and that'll slowly bring that spread back under control. Although that's as far as we're going to be able to spread for right now. The metal trapdoor is in pristine condition, thanks to a made Kelvinite Fistrium, aided by Universal. So dozens of humanoid refugees. It's only a matter of time. Do I really care about them? Well, we are a generous state, of course. However, we are a generous state. However, that adds some energy credits, which I really am in more need of than I am of science right now. I'll build up my own science. Welcome in. We're a generous state. Go work in our mines now. 1 per month is just barely keeping us above board, which will very quickly turn against us. And that's something you run into as an issue with the Klingons a lot, is the Klingons run through their resources like nothing, as I have just now done because something tipped it over. I imagine it's this mining station I'm building. Klingons constantly run into a resource crisis with minerals, with energy credits, and with food. I've never once been able to complete a full campaign because the second I started spreading out at all, if I hadn't done a good enough job here, and even when I did, these resources would just get sucked away completely and instantaneously. So let's go ahead and fix that. Cardassia 5 can become a bigger energy district place. And once we get more minerals in, slow as they are, we'll just keep building energy districts here on Cardassia 5. It's an arid world, it's not going to be good for agriculture or anything, but it might be useful for energy, just as kind of the world that we use for that. Ooh, an Auburn-Taines finally popped up. Good, I'm going to take him immediately. Unity doesn't really matter in this case. Like I said, every time you get a leader, you're going to want to snap him up. And now that we've actually added that energy district, we are once again just barely above board, and if I let this keep going in another few seconds, if stuff could stop happening. What's a petrified forest? These fallen giants, some of which turn permanent now. Do I really care about the science? No, I don't. They're going to give us great data and great minerals. Once this ticks over, I can add another energy district and another one on top of that, because now that I've started building mining stations across the galaxy, it's really helping us out a little bit more. And another thing, now that we officially own Bajor, it's time to put some labor camps down on the ground. This is mainly going to be probably our agriculture and our labor and our mining district. I'm not going to build too many of any of these. These aren't as important as these 3 will be on this world. So labor camp, come on in. Here we have a tradition available. Now, like I said, we could start with these, but really what you want to start off with is over here. This is going to help us out a lot more than any of these other things will for the moment. So once we get through all these, then we can go, well, which one of these is most important? Where are you? There you are. Yep, an Auburn-Taine. You can go ahead and go to Cardassia Prime itself. And if you can do worker production, specialist production, yeah, we just need improved worker protection for right now. And then once Bajor is a bit more built up, I'll send him there pretty much permanently, and he can stay there. Oop, and we finally have a report on the Kittimer crisis. Our Obsidian Order agents have finalized their investigation of the Kittimer incident. The colony's planetary defense system was tampered with moments before the Romulans orchestrated their impressive series of orbital bombardments. As the majority of witnesses were liquidated, our report is unfortunately lacking in first-hand accounts that could prove useful to us. However, our agents did make one intriguing discovery amongst the rebel: the logs of the commander in charge of the Kittimer outpost. The notes point toward the involvement of the House of Moog. Our spies have returned, and our most respectable legates are preparing a galactic communique. Well, we could express our apologies, or we could plan them with the Federation, so that's exactly what we're going to do. And new research is good. Go forth and subjugate. Yes, yes, yes. Let's pause this until we can Oh, what's this? Subspace disturbance. Showing a great subspace disturbance passing through the neutral zone. The disturbance is moving at suspiciously high speeds, indicating a species with warp capability. Subspace communications of this magnitude have only been observed when orders are sent to mobilize a large fleet of starships. Didn't I tell you to pause? We've discovered life, danger lurks, monitor, so that's 2,000 science, or 3,000 unity, or 20 intelligence. Let's go ahead and monitor it right now. I think that's the best thing to do. Now, as our research, as I was saying, what could we do here? Subspace probe logs is probably the most important for you, and since you don't have anything else going on, what's this the antimatter payloads, or yeah, let's go ahead and stabilize symmetry on particles. That'll get us some good ship stuff based later. Ooh, and we went ahead and we got control done pretty quickly as well. So what can I do here? I can either boost our army morale or I can do this. Well, right now we do need a lot of slave population, so we're gonna go ahead and try and get that one done as quick as possible. Now, once again, we have just barely are above our total spread. I hate that when you go into a system, sometimes it just shoves you face first into the planet. Alright, so what I need is I need another administration office. It increases spread and everything. It's really our best bet at preventing that spread thing coming too close. Bajor once again. Yeah, if you could just keep producing labor camps, that's kind of our best bet right now. We also want you to be our breadbasket of the galaxy. And I hope you don't mind, but we're going to make a lot of mining done here. A lot of mining, a lot of industry as well. Energy credits, yeah, you're not that important for that. But if we could get some industry, some mining, and a little bit of bread through here, I think that would be our best bet. And I think I just heard somebody say something about the science division. Ooh, that's great. Finally, Narima finished up here. She's going so slow. And we could clear tiles with that, which is good. However, Central Administration Office, well, it needs deuterium, or, yep, dilithium, which we're not going to have for a while. So yeah, go ahead and figure out how to clear those tiles. That'll come in handy later, more so when we colonize planets, I think. Well, I know that we just pilfered like an ancient forest on that other planet. However, if you're going to do it to a forest under our domain, yeah, you're going to go to prison for life, pal. Hope you had fun being an environmental vandalist. We're not expanding too big right now. Yeah, go ahead and go survey there. Science ships can go as far as they want. Everybody else has to stick within this blue bubble, which can be expanded if you build star bases. But you go ahead and just explore out there. There's no reason for it, no really rhyme or reason, but go ahead and go out there. We'll see you in another few decades, maybe. And now that we've got a couple spy ships, we're going to go ahead and send them to the place that we really kind of need to. You can move here, and then I'll figure out what to do with you later. And then why don't you go ahead and go to the Klingons and somewhere they're not going to find necessarily that important down there. And then we'll figure out what to do with you from then on out. Ooh, is this the one I sent way out to? Yep, the Arcaria system. Yep, you're the one I sent way out there. You know what, go ahead and do that because there's nothing else I really have for you right now. Ooh, and another tradition opened up. So, family values, pop growth speed, non-institutional housing, not as important. Now we need this. We'll circle back to that one later, but these are going to come more in handy quicker than that other one is. You have made it to New Zindus. So what I need you to do is, if you can gather intel, that would be great. And if you made it there, that means that, yep, your partner has undoubtedly made it to the Ogot system. So what I can do here is, yeah, I can either gather on the planet, which isn't as important. That's just propaganda and siphoning energy, which is a really big risk for a level 1 person. So why don't you just go gather some intelligence on their starbase? They won't care as much at that point. And just because I feel like it, the Tellarites, yeah, we could take a soft hand for you like we're doing for most people. But you, my friend, I'm going to give you a hard hand. Don't really want you here, don't really care about you, to be honest. I'm going to go ahead and build a starbase out in the Badlands because, one, there's a lot of nice resources there we can get, but that'll also expand our warp bubble slightly further. in a direction that we're gonna end up going, which is we're gonna try and go over here and hopefully link up with the Romulans at some point, but once again, it's not as important. We're once again still trying to focus in on building up our prime areas as much as we can. That's got 7, which would be great, but it's really close to the border, and I really don't want to risk something happening if we end up punting ourselves into a big war. So that one's got 4 and 5 deuterium. We've got a lot of deuterium, so yeah, you know what? We're not going to be in a war yet, so go ahead and do our best to grab those resources for right now, I guess. And insignificant species have been discovered in the vast network of tunnels beneath the surface of Urkia 2. All right, so this is way out here where we sent that scientist off of. Our scans indicate these beings have access to some basic technology, though their civilization is in the earliest stages. Well, you know what? We could leave them here. It's littered with the ruins of an advanced civilization destroyed in a global nuclear war. All right, so they're good enough. We can go ahead and make contact with them and subjugate them later. Our soldiers have made contact with the tunnel dwellers of Urkia 2, but the diminutive, highly religious creatures would not communicate with us except directly. Instead, they fell to their knees and continually uttered the words "grok grok." The technology, though ancient, was relatively advanced for such lowly life forms. They gave us free reign to monitor their cities, along with metallic gifts, including one of their most sacred relics, a polymer canister bearing an alien transcription. They believe us to be gods. Well then, we could get that and figure out what it means, but I can't do that right now. I'm just trying to build up more energy credits around the area. So, sure, we'll be your gods if that makes you feel better. How shall we treat them? The Kittimer incident has shaken alliances and sent ripples of mistrust across the galaxy. There's never been a more opportune unit for our union to rise up and seize our prosperity from those who would oppress us. It is inevitable that all non-Cardassians within our borders will be scrutinized. The question is, how tight must the state keep its grasp upon their lives to prevent disloyalty? Soft hand, hard hand, they're going to be our slaves. They don't, yeah. And we got a first contact coming up. We're going to keep our phaser cannons standing by if things could stop happening. Jerk, go ahead. Phaser cannon standing by. I'll have to get a new man in charge for that. Forced us to accelerate tireless industries. However, shortened tunneling is the best economic protocol would be. Yeah, sure. So I'm gonna need a new envoy who can take care of this. Let's go over to leaders, governors, spies. Oh, right, I only have an envoy pop of 2. Okay, so to do this, I'm gonna have to pull someone off. The Tholians are more important right now because we can cultivate them into allies later. So the Romulans, sorry guys, you're just not as important. We need to pull away to do this first contact thing over here. We are once again on the very edge of our energy credits. So I need to build a little bit more. I need to build a little bit more everywhere pretty much. All right, great. So as much as I normally wouldn't care about using Cardassia Prime space for this, I need another energy district there. I'm running out of room on all the other ones. And we successfully infiltrated that starbase. And we successfully infiltrated that starbase. Great. And that civilization that was over here no longer exists. God, what happened to him? I don't know what happened to him. Not important to us, I guess. Alright, so since you were able to infiltrate that, we could gather intel, but this is on the far reaches of the Empire. It doesn't really matter. If we can siphon some energy, though, that would be much more important. You, on the other hand, definitely need to be gathering intel. Anything we can pull, even out of this remote system, will be very, very important for us. Great, you're available. Go over there. We also want to go ahead and establish an embassy with you. We want to form a commercial pact with you. A research agreement would be great too. In fact, we'll open our borders to them. I know it's the Romulans. We don't really want to do that. However, we're also going to ask to form that. All right, so they agreed to that. They agreed to our research agreement. I need to see if they agreed to our non-aggression agreement as well. That's the embassies. So we got research, commercial, embassy. I need them to agree to that non-aggression pact. Non-aggression pact. Great. That's all I really needed from them. You guys still don't care about us that much. We are doing our best to improve it, but it's going up real slowly. You, my friend, suck at this job. I need them to be our friends. The Klingons, I guess, closed our embassy at some point. I don't really care. I'm not going to try and maintain relations with somebody way over the border. You I could open borders with, but I need another envoy at some point. But I think that's where we're going to leave it for today. So if you enjoyed this, please be sure to leave a like, drop a comment, and drop a sub if you want to stick around and see what else we've got going on the channel right now, or if you just want to follow along with the rest of the series. That's going to do it today, guys. I'll talk to you all later. Bye. The Bajoran ship Narc was attacked by a hostile structure while researching the transwarp hub system. Is that what it is? I thought it was just a black hole. Alright. Initial reports show that crew's brave actions may have disabled or possibly destroyed whatever it was that attacked them.